I must say I'm very much excited about the launch of this federation because it has taken us 4 years trying to get people together. We know that since 1981 there's been some differences among the people themselves. Some workers were suspicious of the others, and some people felt that they would be dominated by this group. But over time, when we discussed this, and it became clear to the workers that nobody wanted to dominate the other. The only thing we wanted is that workers should get together in order to have that unity which would give them the strength to fight against the total onslaught on the workers by the employers and their allies.
COSATU is a first step towards unified working class movement. We know that then the working class in South Africa is not really organized, but COSATU is a step forward towards forming a movement, a working class movement. And then COSATU will organize industry by industry to form that movement.
At the end, when people told us that it seems as if things are coming together, the Constitution is almost ready and the other unions are coming into our federation, we felt very happy, and I didn't really believe my ears to hear that other unions came together with us, because we really had strong political differences. But now that we are together as one, I think our aims and objectives will be to fight our first enemy, which is the employer and the apartheid.
The formation of this Congress represents an enormous victory for the working class in this country. Never before have workers been so powerful, and never before have workers been so united, and never before have workers been so poised to make a mark on society. And in this period of crisis, the question that echoes through every section of South African society, that is the state, capital, and the democratic movement of this country, is how this Congress will make a mark on South African society. Where will the organized power of the working class be taken? How will this power be used? And in other words, what will be the political role of this Congress? We all agree that the struggle of workers on the shop floor cannot be separated from the wider political struggle for liberation in this country. What workers are fighting for on the shop floor is not very different from what the communities are fighting for in the townships. What we have to make clear to all and sundry is that a giant has risen, and this giant is going to confront all and sundry who seek and want to stand in its way, because this Congress of South African Trade Unions is not going to stand for any form of opposition or defeat. Having said that, comrades, we now open this Congress formally and say, long live COSATU. Viva COSATU! Viva! Viva COSATU! Viva!
COSATU's constitution was adopted after delegates debated several key issues. There were differences over a clause dealing with the restructuring of the South African economy.
3.5 reads at the moment, to work for a restructuring of the economy that will allow the creation of wealth to be democratically controlled and its fruits fairly shared. There were another few words at the end of that which said, amongst those who produced it. And the comrades at the Credentials Committee actually accepted that. I think it must have been left out by accident.
What do the words actually say that you're proposing, comrade?
It's just to add, amongst those who produced it.
The kamerads van CTMWA. We do have a problem with the words amongst those who produced it. Because, Comrade Chair, there are those who have risen from the ranks of the working class, who play an effective role, such as teachers, nurses, amongst others. Are we now to deny them also a fair share of the wealth that has been produced in this country? And without, Comrade Chair, therefore debating the matter too long, we are of the view that clause 3.5 should remain as is, to permit for an equal sharing where persons are denied or through no fault of their own, they find themselves in occupations which we need, and education and nursing and health, for example, are some of those occupations.
We have a counter proposal from Cape Town Municipal Workers Association which says that the clause should stay as it is. I'd like speakers to address themselves to either seconding one of the two positions.
Comrades, I'm from Nismau. And I would like to add just briefly that the reason why we think we should include the words among those who produce it is because, as far as we are concerned, like the example given by the speaker from Cape Town Municipal Workers Association about teachers and nurses, we take all those people as part and parcel of the working class.
Comrades, the two proposals have been seconded, and I would not want to get to a point where I divide the House in terms of voting and so forth. I will allow a few people to speak a little bit more with a view that we will finally reach some form of consensus.
Yeah, Comrade Chair, from Mau, we would like to take a compromise position which will satisfy both views. Then at the end of that clause, we add amongst the working class, because we believe the working class will be a compromise position.
I'm speaking from Gao. Just to remind the comrades from Mau that in fact they came, as it was said, with a compromise position because there were two opposing views expressed by Cape Town Municipal Workers Association and Musa. So I think their motivation is well and good. But then what we are saying is that unfortunately their compromise position falls away given that Cape Town Municipal Workers Association has withdrawn its position. So I would appeal that for the sake of progress, let's move ahead with the understanding that Mau's position, given that it came as a compromise position, has fallen away. Thank you, Comrade Chair.
The wage workers or the working class is more in line with the clauses which have been said already. And we feel it would be more appropriate because it would be accommodating all the workers. Because we have some sectors whereby we find that workers by the government rule are not allowed to join trade unions or For example, like nurses, they are contributing a lot to towards the struggle of the working class, and teachers as well. We are what we are today because of teachers. And I would say, if ever we are to say the producers, really we are taking it a bit too far, we would prefer to use the word for the working class. Thank you.
The comrade is suggesting that all those who have proposed and supported that we should add amongst those who produce it should withdraw their word, their proposal, in the interest of progress. Comrade from Musa.
We phrased it broadly, saying amongst the producers, in order to try and ensure that people don't feel it's a very narrow and restrictive definition, and yet to get across our message that we're saying that those people who do not contribute, who live off the proceeds of the workers, should not be able to keep on taking the food of the workers from those workers. So we phrased it in a broad fashion. We're astonished to see that the comrades from Mao, in coming forward to try and put forward a compromise, to try and resolve a difficult position, then end up starting a new debate, which has threatened again to let us spend another couple of hours until we can resolve the thing. Comrades, if everybody feels happy that we withdraw.
Thank you, comrades. I take it then that it is withdrawn.
This clause was passed reading to work for a restructuring of the economy which will allow the creation of wealth to be democratically controlled and its fruits fairly shared among the working class. Another significant debate was over COSATU's colors and emblem.
We realize, we know in South Africa, that this is the gold country. Even you, chairperson, you are working in mines where you are taking gold. The reason why I move the black color, we know that the majority of the population group in South Africa is the black people. The reason why I mentioned also the red color, we know that in the working class, our long-term objective, we as proletariat, are moving forward for a proletariat dictatorship as working class in this country. So I feel, Mr. Chairman, in all countries that are being controlled by the workers, you will have that red color. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The rising red star over that section of the world might engulf the world later, hopefully. Now, the half spoke signifies industrialization, since the spoke of engines of machines. And we think the hammer aptly signifies that most of our economy is based on the metal industry. And all the industries are actually based on that, or all the machines we use in all our factories are built from metal. So we think that of all those emblems which or drawings we have there, the one which should truly reflect COSATU and the aspirations of COSATU is that second one. Thank you.
If we look at the one with 3 men, it shows that workers are men only. So we don't see a woman there. Now my problem is that workers are not only men. Therefore, I would like to second the last speaker about this first logo, which has got a map of Africa as a whole and shows a part of Europe, and it shows also a red star, which signifies blood.
Comrade Chair, we would also support the logo with the 3 men in the wheel, but we feel that there are some important changes which can be made to that logo to make it more acceptable. The first change we feel is that one of the figures holding the flag or the figure behind should be changed to represent a woman. so that there will be 2 men and a woman in the logo. The second change we feel is that our slogan, an injury to one is an injury to all, should be included in the logo. Now we feel that would be important regardless of which logo is adopted by the Congress, that our slogan should be in that logo.
Also support the idea that we should adopt that logo with 3 men. We can add another person who is a woman. At the same time, we are not interested in a picture only, but we want something that will be seen by our children. Even though we have a badge on our jackets, they should see that this is my father's flag, this is my mother's flag. So if we put on that flag something which African children don't know anything about, will be leading our children astray. I think that one, which 3 men who are working, clearly explains what we are.
And I would say that as a comrade and as a woman also, I feel that women shouldn't just be an unseen force in that logo. I would support the previous comrade that said that one of the people should be a woman, because I believe that that is the way that we can encourage our women who are in the factories and all over as a physical sign that they should be involved in COSATU also. Thank you.
Thank you, comrades.
I will say we withdraw that emblem.
Thank you very much.
Comrades' suggestions that women be visually represented in the COSATU emblem were accepted, resulting in this logo. Most office bearers were elected unopposed, but delegates had to vote for the position of second vice president.
I'm saying to the South African government, P.W. Botha, you have failed in your duties, because therefore release Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela to be the state president of this country. I trust that as from today, you hold hands and be one thing until you are victorious. Victory is certain. What we request from you is cooperation from among all the unions present here. Another important thing is that we usually say there are UDF unions. Today, that is over. We are all unions who are fighting for one thing.
From today, the division created within the workers has been totally dismantled by COSATU. And we are saying to our employers, from now on, beware. Never underestimate the worker. Amanda! 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 Israel! Israel!
Comrades. Thank you that you have given me this duty today. I believe through your support I'll be able to fulfill this job the way you'd like it. But if I don't fulfill it the way you like it, it's up to you to tell me that no, you are failing. Go back to where I'm saying forward with the working class struggle.
The united strength of our people, the united strength of the labor movement, of course, independent from the imperialists, independent from the bosses, but allied to the people, will determine the future of this land. Amanda!
It is a great honor that you have placed this confidence in us today. The formation of our Congress comes at a crucial time in our history. It is crucial because it's an important force in the struggle for our liberation from this apartheid regime, a liberation from the class exploitation we face. It is clear that in our future, this federation is going to make its mark, and it's going to make its mark very forcefully and very boldly. Comrades, for that, we need discipline. We need a commitment, and we need sacrifices. Our Congress has been founded on the heroic sacrifices of our comrades before us, from the ICU, to COSATU, to SACTU, and now COSATU. We have a great task to fulfill, comrades. A task that will liberate our people in South Africa and ensure that the society that is established is a society in which the wealth of the country is owned by the people. Comrades, to fulfill that task, we need the commitment of you as the workers and our base in the organization. Amandla! Amandla!
COSATU's leaders take office at a time when mass militancy is sweeping South African townships. The declaration of the state of emergency and police and army occupations of worker communities has left over 1,000 people dead in the past year.
It is not possible, to try and divorce one's members from the broad, activity that is happening within the country. And obviously, those actions which are happening within the townships are going to affect the members of any union, and they are also going to influence their thoughts.
Wait, Namazar! Good luck! Wait, Namazar! Good luck! Wait, Namazar! Put!
The workers feel that this is their struggle. They must take the lead. They mustn't leave the youth and the other progressive organizations fighting the battles of liberation alone. The workers feel that they must be involved in that, and they are the only section of the society that is powerful to lead the struggle, the liberation struggle. And that has shown itself in November Stay Away, and where the workers decided that, well, we have to take the national issues, the national political issues, in order to gain what we want, get rid of apartheid, get rid of exploitation.
What we as the oppressed people demand is not a modification of the apartheid machinery. Whilst the business community is arguing that, the government is moving rather too slowly on its reform program, and we argue that apartheid cannot in any way be reformed. It needs to be destroyed from its roots upwards.
I think the far-sighted view for business to take is that, as we've already said in this interview, you can't have healthy business with unhealthy politics. So we'd better take an interest in at least those political issues which are of a fairly practical nature. I don't think you can expect business management to discuss a new constitution with a trade union. I think that goes a bit far.
I would say that a large number of South African businessmen are well aware that there are segments of black opinion who are extremely disenchanted with what they perceive to be the private enterprise system. We have made it clear to them, and we will continue to do so, that they must not confuse the private enterprise system with the system of apartheid.
The system of so-called free enterprise that we've lived under has been a brutal experience for us, an experience that's left us very little confidence in it. It's a system in which we believe benefits none but a minority, and that minority is perpetuating its wealth through the type of system that is being established.
I think that it is the view of most of South African business that it is the private enterprise ethic which will serve the black population best, and that we must somehow, by opening up the system more dynamically than we have so far, rid our system of the image that the capitalist system in South Africa only has a white face. Because if that perception was to persist, then I myself do not believe that the private enterprise system will last in South Africa.
They want to secure the future for their profits, and they want to build a future South Africa, a future society that is dependent on capitalism. That's all. And they want to change the face. In South Africa, we don't want to change the face of the government, to put the black capitalists forward. But what we want is to change the system, to change the society, to be a changed society, where there will be no exploitation of man by man.
The structure, the economic structure that exists, together with its political arm, will have to be overhauled in total, wherein a system that is not based on making profit will be devised. A system which would benefit everybody would be a system, that is based on providing for the needs of everybody within the country.
Automatically it will be a socialist system, a proper socialist system, socialist society. Yes. Where workers have control of their lives, where the working class have control of the society as a whole, where the working class have control of the whole thing, and where the wealth of the country is shared equally amongst the people of South Africa.
I'm myself profoundly convinced of the superior merits of free enterprise above socialist management of the economy, and all my friends will certainly be doing all we can in this regard.
Imani! Imani! Imipo! Isinja! Isinja! My boy! My boy! My boy! My boy! My boy! My boy!
We must build our organization at all levels, at the local level, the factory level, and the national level. We must take the politics of the working class into the townships. We don't want federalism. We want one person, one vote in a united South Africa.
NUM,